Could you be more efficient, more compliant, and better at avoiding risk? You may think it's impossible, but we're here to tell you it isn't. Broken processes cause low productivity, wasted time, reduced morale, and a lack of collaboration. A robust process platform that simplifies, automates, and improves efficiency isn't merely something that's nice to have. It's an absolute must in order to stay competitive. The Nintex Process Platform is the most complete, powerful process intelligence and automation platform that makes it fast and easy to discover, map, automate, and optimize your business processes with clicks, not code. Our low-code tools are easy to use, yet powerful enough to solve complicated process problems quickly and efficiently. Use Nintex to document and share how a process should work, then automate each step to remove manual paper-based errors. Our extensive list of connectors and an integration framework allow you to break down the barriers to collaboration, opening more avenues for connection across disparate systems and data. Each of these capabilities ease the burden on your IT team, enabling further pathways to innovation and process optimization. Nintex has been providing process automation solutions for over 20 years, and we can help you become more operationally efficient and free from paper-based processes, all while reducing risk and compliance issues. Process automation is necessary and achievable. Get started today.
Hi, everyone, and welcome to the first session of our Nintex Product Essentials series. My name is Holly Anderson, and I head up product marketing here at Nintex. I'm excited to kick things off today with an overview of our entire Nintex Process Platform and share why we are so passionate about helping you solve your biggest process challenges. In subsequent sessions, I will be joined by some of my product marketing team to give you deeper insight into each of the core product areas I'll touch on today. I'm also excited to have Andy Hayes with me today. Andy is a senior solutions specialist here at Nintex, and he's going to give us an end-to-end demo of the entire Nintex Process Platform a little bit later in today's session. But first, let's go ahead and get started with a really quick introduction to Nintex as a company. For those of you who aren't familiar with us, Nintex was founded back in 2006, and ever since then, we have been 100% focused on delivering process intelligence and automation solutions that really transform the way people do work. Now, more than 15 years later, we're considered one of the leading digital process providers and have helped more than 10,000 customers achieve their digital transformation goals. Now that you know a little bit about Nintex's process history, let's talk about you. I'm sure you're probably a little tired of hearing the term digital transformation. It feels like that's all we've been talking about for years, and it certainly became more prevalent as we all navigated through the events of the last few years. But even though it's not a new concept, what may, or maybe not, surprise you is to find out is that a lot of companies are still struggling with finding success in their transformation projects. What you see on the screen are three of the most common challenges we hear from companies who are trying to meet their automation goals. Think about your own company. Do any of these resonate with you? If you're like most companies, you're probably struggling with at least one or two of these. Now, most technology vendors, including many in the process automation space, will tell you their solution is a silver bullet, something that will solve all your problems and make a cup of coffee for you in the morning. Now, I started my career as a consultant and have been in this industry for more than 20 years. So I've seen a lot of different technology solutions come and go in my time. I really wish I could tell you there's a single solution out there to solve all your problems, but unfortunately, I can't. What I do want to share with you today is how Nintex approaches the problem and why companies choose us as a partner along their digital transformation and automation journeys. I'm going to start with a little bit about our approach to technology and process automation in general. And it's a little bit different than what you may find in many of the other vendors in this space. We believe that really to achieve true digital transformation success, you need to involve everyone in the company to build a process culture. And really the best way to do this is to ensure that everyone can be involved. So we really focus on providing tools that are not only easy to use, but also really encourage collaboration across everyone in your entire organization. That's everyone from your super technically savvy IT department all the way to those business users who are maybe a little bit less technically inclined. We also focus on tools and capabilities that enable you to be agile, and we do that through a couple of key things. One, low-code capabilities that really provide a very easy drag and drop based tool set that you can use to quickly build out solutions, but that is also powerful enough to really help you solve some of the more complex problems in your organization. It's also important to be as flexible as possible so that you are able to adapt and evolve when your business needs change and your technology stack evolves to include new and innovative technologies that may not be in existence today. Really great process cultures flourish when you get some quick wins and can gain momentum through quick time to value. So that's kind of the third area that we really focus on in bringing tools out to our customers. Finally, none of the items above are going to work if the technology isn't affordable, can scale with you over time, and probably most importantly, doesn't take a huge team of dedicated resources to maintain over time. And that's really the approach that we take when we're building out our entire technology stack. So let's look a little bit closer at our technology stack. Over the years, Nintex has evolved from being a workflow solution to a platform with a suite of different capabilities that can fit a variety of needs. Starting with Nintex ProMap and our process discovery capabilities, you can document and collaborate on your processes to build an understanding of what your processes are before turning to the right tool for automating them. With capabilities ranging from digital forms and mobile apps to human and bot-based workflows, document generation and e-signature capabilities, we really have a toolbox full of tools to help you automate and orchestrate your processes. But it doesn't just stop there. Probably one of the most important things is really the visibility and insights you get with Nintex Analytics. Why is that so important? Well, it really helps to ensure that you stay agile by continuously improving and optimizing your processes over time. Processes don't stay stagnant once you've automated them. A lot of times I hear, well, we're done with our digital transformation because we've automated everything in our organization. But that doesn't really get you true digital transformation. You always have to be continuously thinking about and evolving your processes over time because your business needs are going to change over time. I mentioned there's no such thing as a silver bullet, which is certainly true, but having a suite of capabilities like we provide with the Nintex Process Platform ensures that you can easily choose the right tool for the problem you need to solve right now, but then evolve and solve different problems over time. As a matter of fact, one of the nice things about Nintex is that you can get started with any one of these capabilities by itself, and then add on and expand over time. Another key to success is flexibility and the ability to adapt over time, but also to make sure you're getting the most out of your current technology investments. That's why we provide more than 100 out-of-the-box connectors to common enterprise tools like SharePoint, Salesforce, ServiceNow, and many others, so that you can build process solutions that not only orchestrate work between people and robots, but also connect systems and remove data silos. The last component is probably, in my opinion, really one of the most important components of really driving digital transformation success. And it really helps kind of differentiate great technology vendors from the rest of the pack. It has nothing to do with technology at all, but instead is focused on the things that a technology vendor like ourselves can do to partner with you during your journey. Nintex provides a variety of tools, services, and engagement opportunities to really help you make sure that you can be as successful as possible. One of the key things that we do to get you started on your journey is with our solution accelerators. Now, the Solution Accelerator Gallery provides a wide variety of pre-built templates that you can use to help get started much, much faster. And then once you get started and kind of are evolving along your journey, we have a great community of partners, consultants, training professionals, and the rest of the customer community out there to help you make sure that you are as successful as possible and that you meet your specific business goals and can really help share ideas and maybe help share different innovation that you didn't think about when you originally started your journey with Nintex. Now, these three components are really why thousands of companies all over the world in all kinds of industries have chosen Nintex as their process intelligence and automation partner, and are using us really to automate a wide variety of use cases. Everything from industry-focused processes like you see on the screen here now, things like policy underwriting and clinical trial recruitment, all the way to internal operational processes like contract approvals and even HR onboarding. And that's why customers like the channel team at Zoom, who were struggling to keep up with their partner requests, came to Nintex for help with solving their automation challenges, and why Ty at New Belgium Brewing utilizes Nintex to ensure his team is effectively collaborating so that they can focus on what's most important to them, brewing and distributing great beer here in the state of Colorado, right up the street from where I live, actually. We can really help you solve your digital transformation struggles and meet your goals, whether you're looking to reduce costs, stay compliant with industry regulations, improve efficiency, or even provide better customer service. Now, I know most of you joined the session today to actually see the technology in action. So I'm going to go ahead and pass it over to Andy, who is going to show you the Nintex Process Platform in action, starting with our process mapping tool, Nintex ProMap. Andy, go ahead and take it away.
The first product I want to cover and demonstrate is Nintex ProMap. ProMap, in my opinion, is a critical tool for any successful automation strategy. Not only does ProMap reduce the friction and complexity of a typical standard Visio process, but it successfully drives company-wide collaboration. It provides real-time updates and notifications to any of the changes that are made within a process, and it allows your automation team to identify any opportunities to improve and enhance efficiencies within your organization. Users of ProMap love this tool for the fact that when a process is mapped using ProMap, it's simple, clean, and easy to understand. And at the company I was working at before Nintex, all the internal processes were mapped using Visio. And it caused so much friction, as it was sometimes next to impossible to locate the latest version of a particular Visio diagram, and trying to read the Visio diagram was complex enough. But when I moved to Nintex, I was up and running with our internal processes quickly because ProMap made it very easy for me to understand. Now, let's go ahead and take a look at ProMap. This is a typical landing page for ProMap, and this is where your users can come and find and discover processes within your organization. They can also keep track of any metrics and insights of processes that they own, or even if they are part of a process. And my favorite feature of ProMap is the ability to go off and search for a process right from this landing page. So let's go ahead and search for the process map that deals with a fixed price contract. And by searching for just the word fixed, the search function will bring back all the related processes aligned with fixed. And by clicking on the process that I want, this will bring up the process map in a read-only format. Now, by looking at this pro map, you can see straight away that this process is easy to understand and super easy to follow, which is a complete contrast to a typical process that is mapped out in Visio. From this process map, you can clearly see where the process starts and where the process ends. And you can also see who is involved throughout the process. And with ProMap, it's not just about users and groups who are involved, but bots and workflows can also be included in your process maps as well. Users also have an option to view the process in a procedure list, and checklists can also be created and attached to each process. Also, users can view all the changes and updates that have happened to a process over time. They also get access to any documents, including Nintex forms, that are attached to this process. And you will be able to get insights with costs involved within a particular process as well. A feature that a lot of our customers say is invaluable is the ability to capture feedback from users regarding a process. Not only does this keep the process owner or the process expert fully informed with how users are experiencing the particular process, but it also allows your users to channel their feedback directly to someone who can review and make any necessary changes. Something you don't always get when providing feedback via email. A process owner also has the ability to convert this map process into a Nintex workflow automatically by clicking on the Request Automation button. And I'll be demonstrating Nintex Workflow Cloud shortly. And finally, users can share this process with other users or even external customers, and they have the ability to save this process as a favorite for quick future access. The next product of the Nintex platform I would like to cover is our flagship workflow called Nintex Workflow Cloud, which is abbreviated as NWC. And NWC is a very powerful workflow tool. It empowers any user within your organization to go off and build sophisticated forms and complex workflows using our intuitive drag and drop designers. And you don't need to be a developer or someone who has a specialized skill set to use and build with NWC. And because this tool is for everyone, NWC can be rolled out to every department across your business. And with everyone who deploys NWC, they will see an instant value and a very quick return on investment. And I have worked with customers who sit in teams like finance and operations, marketing, HR, and so on, who have put together workflows that have not only saved a lot of time and freed up a lot of costs, but they've also seen a huge organic increase in other areas of the business that adopt NWC. And not only can you design a workflow to execute your business logic, but NWC also has a huge range of out-of-the-box native connectors that will allow you to integrate with your line of business systems. And that will allow you to read and write to these systems from within the workflow itself. And NWC also has a world-class drag and drop form builder, which I will be demonstrating shortly. But along with that, NWC is the orchestrator between all of our Nintex automation products. So let's say you have a scenario where you would like to capture information from an NWC form. And from the information you capture, you want to route that information to get approval. And after approval, you want to store that information into a third-party system like Salesforce or SharePoint. And then you want to go off and generate a document before sending that document off for e-signature. All of this can be put together in a matter of minutes with NWC. So let's go ahead and take a look at NWC. So what you're seeing right now on your screen is our workflow canvas drag and drop designer. And this is where you can come and go off and build and configure workflows, and you can even go off and build your Nintex forms as well. On the left-hand side here, we have a whole range of different actions that you can use and different connectors to third-party systems that you can use within your workflow and your forms. Now, the first set of actions is our communication. So if you want to go off and assign a task to a different user or assign a task to multiple users like a group, you can grab one of these actions and just drag and drop this onto the canvas just like this. And it's the same deal with our send an email action as well. The next section is logic and flow. And this is where you can go off and execute your business logic and run your workflow depending on information that's been captured from a form or even a third-party system. So in this example, I'm going to go ahead and drag and drop the branch by condition onto the canvas. And what I want to do is say, if the risk value, which is calculated from a previous step from an RPA bot, and we're going to see that shortly in our RPA demo, where I have got a bot that's going to go off to an Excel spreadsheet and do a calculation of a risk. When that bot's finished its job, it's going to send that information back to this NWC workflow, and I'm going to say if the risk is greater than or equal to 95%, what do we do next? So if it's greater than 95%, I want to have this high risk approval task assigned. So rather than grabbing a new action, I'm just going to drag and drop and realign the action and add it in this section right here. And you can see straight away everything that corresponds with that task has automatically been added to the canvas as well. It's very easy to make changes in NWC. Anything that's connected to something would automatically be realigned, so you don't have to worry about rebuilding out or anything if you do need to make a particular change. Also, we've got a couple of operations that you can use as well. So, for example, if you get back a value that's in a decimal format and it's expecting an integer, you can convert values and apply different formatting on the values within the workflow as well. Also, below these three items, we also have a whole range of third-party native connectors that integrates with your third-party line of business systems. And we've got connectors for things like Teams and Salesforce and SharePoint and so on. We've actually got over 100 native connectors today, and that list is growing. But if there's something that we don't have a connector for and is a system that you want to integrate with, we also have an extension framework that allows you to integrate with any third-party system via REST API, and you can bring that third-party system in as a connector via our extension framework. Also, with NWC workflows, you've got the ability to start a workflow in various ways. Now, the most typical way is creating a brand new form, and when a user submits a form, that will go off and start a workflow. But you also have the ability to do a component workflow, which is via an API. So by selecting a component workflow, NWC will provide you the URL and any tokens relevant for that API, which will allow you to start an NWC workflow from a third-party system. If you have a workflow that needs to start on a particular day or at a particular time, you can also start a workflow, so you can schedule in a workflow to start on a particular time and particular day as well. We also have a whole range of events or connectors. And what this means is when something happens in another system like SharePoint or Box or Salesforce, for example, a new account has been added to Salesforce or a new document has been added to a SharePoint library, when that event happens, it can be configured to go off and start an NWC workflow, and we can grab all the relevant data as well and use that data within the workflow too. For this example, I'm going to go ahead and select a form, and by clicking on the Start Events, you can see here we've got an option to go ahead and click on Design Form. Now, I just clicked on Design Form, and you can see right now that our form designer has now opened. And it's very much like the workflow, where it's a pure drag and drop experience. You've got all the controls that you need on the left-hand side here, and if you want to use something, all you need to do is go ahead and drag and drop the control onto the canvas. Now, these forms are completely responsive, so you don't have to worry about measurement or dimensions, and you can just drag and drop and snap these controls into place just like this. It's very, very easy to use. And what I love about it is when you build a form, you know straight away that it's going to work for any mobile and tablet device as well. After you've added your controls to the form, you've got the ability to go to each control and update particular things. So, for example, you might want to give a control a nice friendly title. You can provide default values. You can say if this value is going to be required or not, like a required field. You can turn the visibility on and off, and you can also create rules within the form to say, hey, hide and show this control depending on other values that have been added to the form as well. So, for example, if a user clicks yes, then show these controls. You can also make a control read-only, so if you just wanted to display information, you can, and then you can provide things like a tooltip and a description of each control as well. You also have the ability to go in and style up the forms and style up each different control as well to be more aligned with your organization's colors. Now, this is one way of building a form within NWC. The second option, which is my favorite option, is the ability to go off and start with a PDF. And what I mean by that is we can actually import your existing PDF files, and this can be a PDF file or a Word document that's been saved as a PDF or an Excel document, which I've done in the past, and you can bring that PDF and convert that into a Nintex form. So by clicking on Start with PDF, it brings me to the Intelligent PDF Forms Converter. And within the Forms Converter, I have the ability to go off and click on Import PDF and choose a PDF that I've already got. Go ahead and click Open. This is going to open up the PDF, and it's going to allow me to choose to bring in everything or choose a particular part of the PDF to bring into Nintex. So for example here, we don't really want this header because we kind of want to rebuild this in NWC anyway, but what I really want is the inputs below. So by using my mouse, I can go ahead and drag a particular area and bring that into the form just like that. And what's fantastic about this tool is that it's not static inputs. So for example, here you can see that the date input, NWC has picked up on that and decided to use a calendar rather than a normal text box. And that's the same situation for the parent phone number. Rather than a normal text box, it's brought in a phone number, and it's also done the masking for us as well. If I go down the form a little bit more, and let's go ahead and drag and drop the teacher review, once again, it comes in straight away, and you can see here it's brought back a little header for us, which is quite nice. And it's also brought in our wet signature tool as well, because it's asking for a signature, and NWC has picked up on that alignment. And by clicking on that control, you can go off and test that control as well. After you're happy with this, you can go ahead and click on Finish in Form Designer, and this will bring back everything that you've imported back into that drag and drop Forms Designer. And then you have the ability to go off and fix up any cosmetic issues that sometimes happens. For example, this. You can also go off and add more controls and add more styling to the form as well. But I seem to be quite happy with this. So I'm going to go ahead and click Apply Changes. And that's it. All that information from the form that's been captured is now available for me as a form variable within the workflow, as each individual items as well. So if you want to go off and store that information in a SharePoint list or a Salesforce record, all you need to do is match these variables up with your NWC connector. So the next thing I would like to cover is our integration. And as I mentioned before, we've got so many connectors out of the box. Now, if I wanted to go off and use something like SharePoint, all I need to do is go to the SharePoint folder itself and choose exactly what I want. So for example, if I wanted to create a brand new item in a SharePoint list, all I need to do is drag and drop that control onto the canvas and snap it into place where I want it to go. So for example, after the RPA bot has finished its job, the workflow will go off and create a brand new item in SharePoint. And by clicking on the action itself, it's going to bring up the properties panel in the right. And this is where you can go off and choose different connections to your different SharePoint sites. And remember, you can have multiple connections to multiple different SharePoint sites. You're not tied to one site collection. And when you go off and choose your SharePoint list item, you have the ability to choose your list, and then you can go off and add your form variables and align it with your SharePoint list as well. Also, if you want to go off and use something like Nintex DocGen, which I will cover in this presentation shortly, all you need to do is find the action within the list here, or you can go ahead and search for it within our search results, our search function as well. And you can see here that our document generation is now available, and I can just drag and drop this onto the canvas too. Perfect. Now, one thing I forgot to mention is that we have real-time validation within NWC. If something isn't configured correctly, or if it ain't going to work, we tell you straight away that this item or this action needs attention. And by clicking on it, it will pinpoint exactly what you need to do to get this action working within your workflow. Now, I've just applied the generate document action. And what this does, this will take a Word, an Excel, or a PowerPoint template of yours that you can define. And within that template, you're going to have some tags that we can replace with workflow variables. And it's a super easy tool to use. I love document generation. And the reason why I love it is because we've got this open Nintex document tag action right here that generates these tags for you that you can use in your templates. Meaning every time you run the workflow, it's going to be automatic and you don't have to worry about anything. It's a pure find and replace those tags with your workflow data. So if we go to our start event variables and go down to our form variables, all those variables that were created from that PDF form that we imported is now available as tags. And as a designer, all I need to do is copy and paste these tags and add them to the template. And every time the workflow will run, it will replace those tags with data. It's very easy to use and very powerful to use as well. And the last action I quickly want to show you is our Azure Sign connector. So once again, we can go back to search and search for Azure Sign and just drag and drop that action onto the canvas. And from here, we can go off and choose our connection to our Azure Sign tenants. We can choose our account and choose our template. And depending on the template you choose, we'll bring back all the inputs. So if you're using inputs such as name or a calendar, whatever, you can populate those templates using workflow variables with this action as well. The next product I'm going to cover is Nintex RPA. And there are many reasons why our customers use RPA. And one of the most common reasons is the ability to go off and fetch data from systems that don't have an API, or if they want to go off and just automate those manual desktop tasks. But the real unique selling point of Nintex RPA is the ease of use. And just like with NWC, you don't need to be a developer or someone who has a specialized skill set to go off and build automated bots that will benefit your organization. And unlike with humans, you can have a bot running at full speed 24/7, and you can have your bots handling very complex Excel tasks. And also you can have these bots to deal with green screen consoles, which you can send the information back to NWC. And since everyone in your organization will be able to go off and build these bots, we provide you the tools that enables you to govern and coordinate bots from a centralized location. Let's go ahead and take a look at a Nintex RPA bot in action. So what you're seeing right now is my desktop, and I'm going to go off and quickly open up a Nintex bot. And what this Nintex bot is going to do is going to go ahead and open up an Excel spreadsheet and do some complex calculations and work out a risk value between two columns listed in this Excel spreadsheet. And what I eventually want to do is, after the bot has done the calculations for me, I'm going to go off and send that information back to my NWC workflow that we had open before. Another major feature of the Nintex platform is our DocGen, which is our document generation. And with DocGen, you can generate documents natively within NWC. And these documents can be populated using data captured from an NWC form and even from your line of business systems without having to do any copying and pasting. This will not only increase your efficiencies with delivering documents to your customers and internal users, but it will also eliminate any human error from having to copy and paste data between different screens. And with DocGen, we can deliver Microsoft Word, PowerPoint, Excel, and PDF documents. And typically, our customers will use DocGen within NWC to send the generated document via an email. And we also have a flavor of DocGen that has been specifically designed for Salesforce, which means you don't need to have NWC for this scenario. This will allow your users to generate documents with your Salesforce data with a click of a button. But you can also set this up as a schedule, and you can also bring in NWC if you want to extend and add in some additional approval workflows. And as we saw in the NWC demo with the Nintex tagger, you will have the same functionality with DrawLoop. And with all these automation products that are available, it is vital that you also have a tool that can measure performance and provide you automation insights into your organization. And that is where Nintex Analytics comes in. Customers use Nintex Analytics to understand how their processes are performing and to measure the process's efficiencies. Nintex Analytics is also useful to discover any actionable insights, such as a bad performing action or even a bad performing workflow. And it will give you the information that you need to go off and optimize and streamline your processes. More importantly, Nintex Analytics will give you insights on any bottlenecks that may be occurring, which will help you to optimize your business processes.
Awesome. Thank you so much for that demo, Andy. Really enjoyed seeing everything that you showed us today. I hope for all of you out there it was very informative and gave you kind of a flavor of the capabilities that we have in the Nintex Process Platform. We'll go ahead and open it up to questions now, but before I do that, I just wanted to say thank you so much for joining today's session. Hopefully this was a really good overview of all of the capabilities that we have in the Nintex Process Platform from a technology standpoint, but also gave you a better understanding of our approach and the other things that we provide all of our customers to really help drive your success. Now, I do want to mention that this was just the first of that Product Essentials series. We will continue providing some additional deep dive series on each of the different capabilities that we touched on today. And our next session in the series is going to be all about Nintex ProMap. So make sure, if you haven't already, to sign up for that. That will be coming to you in February, and we'll want to give you really good details on how ProMap helps you not only, as I mentioned, document all your processes, but really help you collaborate and get good visibility into the processes in your organization. I'll go ahead and open it up for questions now. I did just want to mention, though, if you have other questions that come up, maybe you don't want to ask them on the session today, or maybe something comes up afterwards, feel free to always reach out to me if you have any of those questions. My email is shared here on the screen, or you can always connect with me on LinkedIn as well. But in the meantime, really appreciate your time today. Thanks so much, and we'll go ahead and open it up for questions. All right, please make sure if you do have any questions that you go ahead and put those in the question box, but there are a couple that have come in, so we'll go ahead and answer those. First one here is, what would you recommend as a good starting point if you are just getting started on automation projects in your organization? It's a great question, and I kind of mentioned this at the beginning of the presentation. It really depends on what you are trying to achieve in terms of your automation goals. But the other thing that I suggest is really looking for opportunities where you can get quick wins. I mentioned that getting quick wins is one really good way to build that process culture in your organization. And so looking at things that maybe you can automate that won't take too long, but are maybe big pain points for your company is a great way to do that. What we commonly see are kind of two different areas. One is there's lots of just kind of manual, really time-consuming processes that are great opportunities to bring in RPA to automate and have bots do that work instead of humans. So that's one opportunity. And then the other thing that we often hear about is just those human-based tasks that you maybe have a set of steps that need to go to multiple different folks to do different things as part of a process. So really just looking at those ways to help automate and orchestrate. Lots of good kind of use cases there. Something simple like contract approvals is always something that we see our customers looking at. Onboarding is a big one as well, whether that's vendor onboarding or HR onboarding. All of those are great options. Let's see, what other questions do we have here? Oh, question about pricing and how we price across our platform. So great question. We do have a whole bunch of details on all of our different pricing up on nintex.com. It's just nintex.com/pricing. But just to give you a high-level overview, we have kind of two options. One is if you are looking to get started on a very specific area that we talked about. Maybe you want to look specifically at workflows or specifically at RPA bots. We have individual consumption-based pricing based on the number of workflows or bots or documents you want to generate. And we have really great introductory pricing there to get you started. So as I mentioned, you can kind of grow over time. The other option that we do allow or do provide is more of an enterprise subscription that gives you access to kind of all of the flavors of the platform. So everything from workflow and RPA, document generation, as well as e-signature capabilities. So depending on what your needs are, we have a package and price for you to get started and then scale and move up over time. Let's see, question here. I currently automate using the Nintex on-prem platform. Welcome. Thank you for being a loyal Nintex customer. What's the URL to access the platform that was demoed today? Great question. So this was, as Andy mentioned, this was our Nintex Workflow Cloud platform. If you are a on-prem customer, you can actually easily just sign up for a NWC trial. That's available on our website. Or you can also connect with your account manager and they can set it up for you as well. Another question here about training options. So great question. We have a lot of training options available for all different aspects of our platform. We have the Nintex University that's available to all of our existing customers and provides kind of deep dive into specific details about each of the different areas of our platform, as well as providing a broad overview of automation and digital transformation concepts as well. So if you are an existing customer, definitely an option to check into. If you need more details about that, reach out to me, or you can reach out to your account manager directly. I will say also, though, that there's a lot of great kind of community-based information out on our community site. So if you go to community.nintex.com, those provide a lot of great forums where everyone in our community, whether it's internal Nintex folks, our customers, our partners, share information. So you can also get a lot of good training and tips out there as well. All right. I think so far that has kind of covered all of the questions. If you do have anything else, I'll leave this open for another minute or two to answer questions. But otherwise, thank you so much for attending, everyone. If you do have anything that comes up after the fact, feel free to reach out to me. Or if you're an existing customer, you can also always reach out to your account manager as well. Thanks so much. We'll go ahead and wrap it up there. Appreciate it, and have a good rest of your day.